people, real stories. Chasing dreams, overcoming obstacles. Come get inspired and take action. I know you ready. Let's go.
What's going on? Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial Blueprint. We got our boy Ace. Ace, what's going on?
How are you guys doing?
Good, man. So I'll get this rolling a little bit. To introduce Ace, Ace made the most badass videos for Carney for years. I mean, a lot of our commercials and initiatives and stuff like that, Carney would tell Ace what his vision was, and Ace would say, all right, let's do it. I'll make it work. So Ace, thank you for coming on. I want to just jump in and talk about that. So you ran your own, what do you call it, media company?
Yeah.
Company, right? And it was cool because you dealt with a lot of companies that had bold visions, Carney being one of them. How do you interpret what someone's vision is, and how do you put it down on a piece of paper and turn that into a really cool commercial?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I know you mentioned him, but yeah, I want to shout out Carney. He really helped me a lot in my early career. And also just like, I consider him as a friend and like really helped me out. Kind of, it started my business. He gave me a few pointers too, not just like in business wise, but just as a person, as a man. So he was an amazing person. I still keep in contact with him and everything. But his main thing whenever we got together and worked was just he it happens with every client. He wants to like he has a vision of a video, and then I kind of try to break down, okay, if this is like a training video or a highlight video he wants to do. It just kind of depends on really figuring out their business goals. Where is this video going to go uploaded to? Is this going to be for like the website or socials? And what's like the overall goal for working this kind of content? Because a lot of the stuff that I see, especially now today, and a lot of creatives, is that they struggle trying to create cool looking badass videos, but in turn, sometimes those don't convert properly. You know, like we we got into this business to work with brands and businesses. If you want to make cool shit, then do your own things. But you're getting hired for this work from other people, from other businesses. So you got to make sure these videos have some kind of solution for whatever problem they're looking for, or and try to communicate that with them, because you can't just come in here like, oh, I want to make this cinematic, cool looking video, and it doesn't like kind of do anything, or it doesn't solve any problems in their business, whether if that's just increasing the profits or helping train new employees coming into the company, like things like that. There has to be some kind of goal for the video.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say that makes a lot of sense. The easy part when you're, especially in a business like ours, or really any business, fitness industry. I know Ace, you're heavily involved in the fitness industry as well, but the easy thing is to come up with the vision. Hey, this is what I want a commercial to look like. I love doing that. I love dreaming big and putting something together that I think is really cool. For example, my dad's best friend's Mike Devereaux. He's, former Oriole player. And I said, Dad, let's get a commercial with Mike Devereaux. He's taking batting practice off of me and he's hitting home runs and hitting someone's roof. And we're going to go out and knock the door and get the roof and say, hey, whether it's hail, wind damage, or Mike Devereaux home run, like call CR3, right? That's easy to come up with, but to actually video that and sit down and make that vision come alive, you really hit that on the head. So I think it's really cool that you make visions come alive for people.
Yeah, that video was a lot of fun. I mean, like the thing too is I don't want to I don't want to take all the credit. In that video, a specific project, I had help with another editor. He's a good buddy of mine, Logan. And that's like another thing with like growing a business and working in this kind of industry, is you can't do all this by yourself. Like if you want to make a cool video or build a business, you have to have help from other people. And I mean, I saw that firsthand with Carney when he was starting out with C3, now CR3. He always emphasized the idea of building genuine connections, leveraging relationships and things like that. And that's what I did for that project. I knew that was a big project coming in. You know, we have a professional baseball player, and this is the kind of video that we need to kind of hit it out the park. No pun intended, but I needed help with editing that video, and he's a better video editor than me. So I asked him, and we storyboarded that kind of out, kind of thought about how we want to shoot and edit it, and then we came to that day, we filmed everything what we needed to do, and then I also remember specifically, I think I was working with your dad, and he gave me a few pointers of like, hey, we should also do this on set, and just I was like being willing to collaborate with the client, because at the end of the day, like I said, like it's their video, like this is their project, this is their kind of vision. So I'm more than willing to always collaborate with my clients.
Sure. What's some key elements in your professional opinion on, for the home exterior space to connecting with their targeted customer, the homeowner? Like what are some key elements you think really stand out, and what you should be kind of be focusing on when you're creating that content?
I think it just honestly just depends on the like goals for the content we're doing, but all in all, what always does really well is making the customer the hero. Like, granted, you guys are an exterior roofing company. There's a shit ton of other exterior roofing companies out there. They honestly do not care about you. They care more about themselves. So when we're creating these videos, especially testimonial videos, we have to make sure they're kind of the hero. They are explaining their story of, why they chose you guys. It's obviously you guys are going to say you guys do amazing work. You guys do great stuff.
Biased opinions, right? Biased opinions.
Which you guys, in my opinion, you guys do great work. You guys are one of the best. But it's different hearing that from another client, from another testimonial, and hearing their story and their experience. So it's more about like trying to figure out and explain the messaging with those videos.
Yeah, and I that's a intriguing question from Lester, I think. Really, especially because you're in a lot of different facets. I alluded to it a little bit earlier that you're in the fitness industry. I think you're powerlifting, I think, or but you're around bodybuilders who their whole profession, their whole goal is around media, making themselves look the best they can on camera. And so when you're dealing with all of these different industries, whether it's the exterior modeling industry that we're in, or you're in the fitness community, or you're in an interior designer, you're in a whatever it may be, do you feel like you kind of have to switch? You have like a switch in your brain that you have to be creative differently, or is it all kind of the same idea?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I get asked that a lot. Just to give you more context, right now I mainly just work with health and fitness brands and businesses. That's like my bread and butter. But before then, I did a lot of like different niches and industries. I still will to this day, but it just kind of depends on the project and if I connect well with the business or brand, like if we just match perfectly. But all in all, when I work and think about these kind of content for different industries, the basics are pretty much all the same on these contents. Like testimonials are great. Pretty much top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel stuff are pretty much the same thing for each industry. We just have to kind of match the theme, the messaging to the brand or business we're working with. So like if I'm working with you with CR3 and everything, your testimonial video is going to be completely different for like a van conversion company or a mom and pop shop that does like catering. You know what I mean? So yeah. The basics are pretty much the same, but it's just like the content itself has to be pivoted towards that branding or their business.
Nice. What are some common mistakes that you're seeing out there before you come, before your clients take you on that they're really, making with video content and stuff like that, that you got to kind of clean up and then get them on the right path? What does that
Yeah.
look like?
I like common mistakes from just like
From
yeah,
like, your potential clients that become your clients, they probably have some type of storytelling going
mm,
on that they've tried on their own, but they're obviously coming to you as a professional to really get that tightened up and really deliver their vision. So what does that like look like when they, before they get to you and then after they get to you? And then the mistakes
yeah.
that you believe, you know, that's where they were kind of missing it, and that's where you're going to be able to help them carry out their story and overall be effective to their targeted customer.
Yeah, I think there's a couple. The first thing that comes to mind is that a lot of clients or a lot of companies will see other big businesses, huge brands do these campaigns and
Yeah.
they replicate it. But that doesn't, the thing is, you got to understand is like Coca-Cola, Nike, all those huge businesses have huge teams and fuck you money. They have insane budgets. So,
Right.
and they have different business goals. You cannot like, you can take those ideas, but you cannot exactly can't copy those campaigns, those projects, because it is totally different. You guys aren't in the same scale as that, you know. But like but you can take concepts and ideas from it, you know. So that's a lot of the times I see happening to other businesses and brands is that they'll see something shiny and think it's cool, like, oh, big businesses are doing it. We obviously got to do it. No, you guys are a completely different scale. You guys have different budgets, different teams, and your business goals are different as well. So that's like one thing. And the other thing too is a lot of businesses are scared of posting content. um, the thing what people don't understand is it's going to take time. Like you have to make engaging authentic content, but you also got to figure out your content pillars. And what I mean by that is you got to figure out what themes you want to work with within your industry. So I'm just thinking, I'm just like spitballing right here. So one content pillar for roofing companies that they could do is like, let's make organic content talking about like signs of um, damaged roof. Like what things can you uh, look for on damaged roofs to know when you got to get replaced. And then within those content pillars, you just make, okay, this is what kind of wind damage looks like. This is what hail damage looks like. And then it doesn't even need to be video format. So you could turn those content into photo or carousel stuff. So not only are you posting video reels, but you're also getting photo reels at that too. And if that is working out and you're creating these content series, then you can kind of push the needle more. Like, what can we do besides roofing to show like what customers to look out for? So you could go down this line of your content pillars of just like showing clients or showing customers what to look out for damages, and then make this into a content series, into a pillar, and then just kind of roll that in. But the thing is you're not gonna hit the mark on the first video, second, third, fourth. Maybe you will, but it's gonna take time. Usually, like you'll have a better grasp after the third month, because your first month you're just kind of making content, and that's the most important part. Second, third month you're just looking at the data and analyzing them, which worked, what didn't work, what is trending right now, and then pivoting onto the third month. So usually after, it's going to take time. Like usually after the third month you'll have a better grasp of what's working for your brand, what isn't.
Yeah, and it was something that you said that was really interesting to me is you brought up the big companies like the Coca-Colas, like the Nikes. Anytime you take a class, I took marketing classes in college, part of the curriculum, and they start getting into some of the things that the big companies have to do for marketing. This color represents strength, this color represents loyalty, or if you look at cereal boxes, right?
Mm.
The eyes on the cereal boxes look at you as you go through the aisle, right? They're doing all these crazy things. But those are like the big conglomerates, these big conglomerate companies. When you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you can start getting into stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm starting to notice being in a local market, and I think a lot of our franchises too are probably starting to know this as well, is homeowners, especially when they want a company that is in their community, that's a small business, they just want to know your story. They
Mm-hmm.
just want to know that you're in good hands or that they're in good hands and that you truly do care about them and you're going to give them the best product and service possible. They don't care about the color of your ad, which does help, or they don't care about what this scene looks like and this scene. They just want to know that you care about them, you care about your community, and that you're willing to put in time and effort into marketing so that they know they can trust you.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I was talking to a buddy about this, and yes, being like, obviously you have to have the same colors, the same fonts. You got to match the branding well onto these contents, so it doesn't just look like a third grader is creating these videos and photos. But a lot of businesses get too caught up on the nitty gritty, and too much focus on like specific stuff when it doesn't even move the needle. And you're exactly right. Like, you can't be caught up on those kind of things when it, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, sometimes I'll shoot a video and the lighting isn't the best, but what is said in the video is more important. I will take that over terrible lighting. Like, it's more important that the messaging was crucial for people to hear than like the perfect lighting. You know what I mean? So that is one thing that businesses sometimes get too caught up on, like the very, very specific, especially I see it more on like mom and pop shops because they're spending this the first time in a marketing video, but at the end of the day, it's not really moving that needle for them.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, it's really easy to get caught up in trends, especially the cliche social media trends that you see out there. But I think when you're coming up with a really cool marketing strategy, again, we're in the exterior remodeling business, so and Lester can attest to this because he's literally talking to small business exterior remodeling owners from literally around the country. The best place to start when you're putting out, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the best place to start if you're having trouble figuring out what you want your marketing to look like is what do you represent as a company? We just
Mhm.
put out a billboard with Carney, actually, it's got his face on it, but we sat down and said, okay, what does CR3 represent and what does Carney represent? Carney's a hometown boy from Hanover, Pennsylvania, who loves his country, who loves to work hard, right? And so you start from there, and we came up with a billboard with an American flag on it, with a slogan that says "Rooted in freedom, built to last." Right? It was really easy to just come up with your marketing idea when you understand what you really represent.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
no, I was just saying, and I think that's the best place to start. Is don't if you're a local business owner, don't get caught up in those social media trends and trying
Yeah.
to emulate what a lot of these other people are doing. Just be authentic and show people what you represent.
No, 100%. That's a big thing that some brands and businesses get caught up a lot too. It's not just like local, because for example, Nike, just do it. That's their overarching message, right? All their content that they're pushing out, that's the overarching message. That all the stuff they're putting out, whether it's their video, photo content, email, SMS, everything has to be towards that overarching just do it message, right? So the companies need to have a theme or a mission that every single employee is behind, because then they'll understand where they're kind of at. So for example, when Gymshark, they were more known as like the lifting gym brand, right? And then they strayed upon that, away from trying to be catered to everyone. And this was during COVID time.
Yeah.
And a lot of their fan base and people that really liked the brand went away. They were like, this is not for me anymore. Like, I started with Gymshark because they represented people that like actually like to lift, and their content was showing body positivity. I'm not against it, but like body positivity.
Yeah.
It was a different campaign, different feel from their previous content they were pushing out, and they lost fan base. And now that they realize that they are losing on this strategy pivot that they did. They went back to their original like theme of Gymshark, of why they became successful. And it's kind of the same thing what Nike did. They kind of strayed away from though that messaging of just do it, but now you see they're coming back with these crazy campaigns. And recently that they did in the Olympia, where they showed all these strong women saying like, oh, just because you're a woman, you shouldn't do this. Just do it then. You know, this was a really strong campaign to kind of showcase the top of the top women athletes. And that's what Nike needs to just stick with, because that's what they're known for. They shouldn't stray away from that. So when we're going back to local businesses, they want to try to replicate other brands and other businesses when it's not authentically them. So they have to figure out what is their mission, what makes them kind of different. And for CR3, what you said was exactly Carney's upbringing. For him, that started out, he says it all the time, he was born with basically a hammer in his hand. And he grew up in this construction business, and he knows what the ins and outs and the pain points of other customers firsthand. And you got to lean into those stories, because that's what makes you different.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, again, because we work with people all over the country, is take the company's mission and then make it your own within your local market. Right. And go with what aligns with the mission statement of the company, but also the authentic version of yourself and what's going to work in your local market. Because obviously, you know, every market's kind of different or has its own nuances. But yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. We appreciate that. Did the fitness industry, you know, did that come natural to you? Did it choose you, or did you choose to be in that industry?
It was, so I bodybuild in high school, so it was always a natural thing to me. It was always an interest of mine. And honestly, part of the reason why I started doing video and photo, because I was making like gym edits in high school. And it wasn't until I got to college where I met this guy named Jeff, and I worked with him in a production company. And he God bless him, like he was able to take me along his wing and his production company, and we toured the country together with along of other employees of his. And we basically did recaps and photos and videos for mastermind events around the country while I was in college. And that was when my entrepreneurial spirit came alive, and realizing like you can make serious money doing video photo. And on the side, I was like, okay, I want to try doing this with like health and fitness. So while working with him, I did other jobs, and I realized like, wait, I can kind of do this on my own. And like, that's when I stopped working with him for a bit, and like slowly I strayed away. And then that's when I created my own like ACVA films. I got my own clients and clientele, working in different industries and niches. But health and fitness was always something I got. That's like my bread and butter, just something I really enjoyed, just because the people, the culture, people I align with the most, besides construction. It was honestly health and fitness and construction were like my two industries that I worked a lot in.
Awesome. Well, Ace, we're not going to hold up too much more of your time. Usually I ask, leave us with one piece of advice or wisdom, but you kind of did that the entire episode, so I don't think we need to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna put your Instagram and social media handles in the YouTube bio down below. If you're listening, hit up Ace. He's got some really cool stuff. If you ever want to try to collab with him, I'm sure they could just DM you. But Ace, thank you for coming on, man. It was awesome to have you and catch up with you and to hear all of the awesome things you have going on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we'll look out for you in the health and fitness industry, and just keep doing amazing things, man.
For sure. I mean, I got to stop by in the office and get one of those new merch or new beers you guys got. So.
Yeah, the new beers. Yeah. It's kind of counterintuitive to what your industry you're in. But
yeah.
All right, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you much.